Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I'm super pleased to have Claire Chubbuck with me. Hey, Claire.
Hey.
And in person, I didn't bother with your interview podcast to thank you for coming in person because, of course, everyone has the option to do Zoom if they want.
It's a pleasure.
But eye contact helps, right?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah. All right, so Claire's here. This is a 4 questions podcast. I'll explain that in a second. But Claire came over to talk about you and your work because I met you when your film was at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival in 2023, Away Home, and it's just a wonderful film. I highly recommend it. Oh, you know what? I did forget something during your interview podcast, which was to ask if there's somewhere they can watch it. Not yet.
No, actually.
Not yet.
Not
well,
yet.
then it's okay that I didn't ask. All right, so I'm sorry if you're listening to this. You'll just have to ask her to send you a link or something because it's an amazing film. You should absolutely see it. And as proof it's amazing, our grand jury gave Away Home at Sherman Oaks Film Festival in 2023. It won Best Featurette Drama and Best Performance by a Cast for a Featurette. And it's just a remarkable film. Golf clap for you and your work.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing more. And you can learn all about Claire and her work if you listen to the podcast before this one, because the one you're listening to now, it took me 1 minute and 40 seconds to get around to saying, all right, this is the 4 questions. Claire's I'm really looking forward to this because you are so insightful. So we're about to hear you name 3 favorite films.
Okay.
An underrated film, an overrated film, and a lesser-known film that people should seek out. And I'll add that the trite joke is I'm not wearing a black and white striped shirt with a whistle. If you do more than 3 and you skip one of the questions, there are no rules.
Okay.
It's really just a chance. It's an excuse to just talk about cinema.
I love it. I want to start with the underrated film. Can I?
I just said there's no rules.
Yes, no rules. Already starting in, breaking them, doing them. Have you seen Snow on the Bluff?
No.
Snow on the Bluff is essentially a found footage film about living in a really underprivileged community. It is so good, and I swear it is actually a documentary, but because illegal things happen in it, that they say it's a narrative, and they added some narrative spots to it. There's this one scene where this little boy is crying out for his dead mother, and I am like, who taught him to act like this? This is acting that is beyond the level of understanding of a 4-year-old. Something very real is happening here in this movie, and there's like drug deals. They steal from people. It's wild. It is this wild film done under the guise of this found footage drama. It is one of the best films I've ever seen in my life. All
right, I guess I'll be going to where can I watch it?
It was hard to find.
Well, there's that website, thejustwatch.com.
Yeah.
You can generally find everything.
You might have to pay for it.
Sounds worth it, right?
Worth it, yeah.
Yeah, actually, special films, it's so funny. We live in a world where so much is, and on air quotes, free because we pay subscriptions. Mm-hmm. And then people are like, oh, I don't want to pay another $3.99 on Amazon to see it.
Pay for this one. Pay for this one if it's $20. Pay for this one if it's $40. Like, this is how good this film is. And then I want you to ask yourself, is this real? Right? And that's the beauty of, obviously, the found footage genre in general. But this one really, like, if this is not real, I would be so surprised. I would bet money that this is real, or the acting is that good. If this is not real, this is some of the best acting I've ever seen in my life.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's my underrated.
All right.
Yeah.
You can choose what you do next.
Okay.
We can keep going this way.
All right. Let's hit overrated, and it's coming from an acting perspective, and that is Longlegs. So I felt that there were some real missed opportunities in Longlegs, and also to talk about Nick Cage's acting in this was just shrill shrieking, and I know a lot of people loved it, so come at me with the hate for this, but it felt ridiculous, right, and somewhat unmotivated. And the rest of the cast, there were so many opportunities for relationships to make the impact of what ends up happening at the end more gut-wrenching. There were so many opportunities for gut-wrenching, scary, actually sweet. Like, there were a lot of relationships there that felt that they were missed. And I think a really important part of acting that most actors do not see is that it's actually about the relationships, because the script is going to do what the script is going to do because it has been written. So that's the movement forward of the plot narrative. But our world is about relationships. What becomes important to us is about relationships. When you go anywhere, when you show up to a new group, it's who am I fucking, right? Who am I romantically interested in? Who's my best friend? And who's my enemy? And that even comes down to when you first walk into like a kindergarten. Obviously, it's not so crass as who they're fucking, but it is who's my boyfriend? Who am I going to kiss? Or who's my girlfriend? Who am I romantically interested? Who's my best friend? And who is my enemy? Our entire existence is around relationships from the time that we are very, very young. And so that is something that, as those narratives interplay, who's my father figure, who's my mentor, all of these things. And I think Longlegs really missed a lot of opportunity there, where the main character and the relationship she had with the almost father figure, because she doesn't have a dad. So the relationship was possible, felt like the writing set it up, but it didn't feel like the actors swung and had that beat.
I haven't seen it yet, which is interesting because I've heard a lot of praise.
Yeah.
So I love hearing what you just said about it. You might actually, by lowering my expectations, you might have helped me enjoy it more. But yeah, it's on my list. I got to see that. I have to see The Substance, but I don't.
I really liked The Substance. Yeah.
But as you know, most of my viewing time is watching festival submissions.
Yes,
so
I do.
I watch the indies instead of the stuff in the theaters. But I try to get out now and then.
Well, I took my acting class to see Longlegs because we do this every once in a while. We'll all go and then we'll talk about the acting after. But that would be like my major note in this film, is that the relationships were underdeveloped, but everything was there to develop them, but the acting wasn't there. And I know, like, Nick Cage does not give you a lot of time on set. Like, he's there. So in that film, it was like the first time the girl who was playing the main character met Nicolas Cage was like on set, and she just had to react real. And the filmmaking, there's some really beautiful aspects, like they use her heartbeat that's real from her love because she was nervous, and that's part of the film. And I love shit like that. So there's a lot of really excellent things in this film. I just thought the acting could have had, it was underrated, or it was overrated in terms of what the acting.
Right, overrated because people ran around saying, "Oh, it's great."
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost inspired me. Maybe you did answer this, but I don't know, because you're so perceptive. When you see something like that, do you think to yourself, was it at the script level was an issue, or was it at the directing level, or do you think it was just, or did Nick force them to rush the production? You're saying, or
I don't know.
Or no way to really analyze what caused the poor choices.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even go as that far to say the poor choices.
Right.
I think there was opportunity for gold that was unmined.
Got it. Excellent.
And
missed opportunity.
Exactly. It's a missed opportunity. Okay, so what do I have left? I did one that you should watch that you haven't heard of.
You did Under and Over. Well, interesting because you said Snow on the Bluff was underrated, but it could have been your lesser known to seek out.
That's the lesser known to seek out, because good luck finding that, right? Truly good luck finding it. And it's Snow on the, like THA, Bluff.
Oh, that will help me find it.
Snow on the Bluff, And then I did the overrated from a perspective of acting. And now let's think. Underrated films. I know I should have come prepared with these.
No, I could I could try to help with prompts if you want.
Yes.
Well, can you think of a film can you think of one of those moments where I'll just lean on the Oscar thing and say like one of the most amazing performances you ever saw didn't even get nominated or was nominated and lost out to somebody else, and you were like, oh, please, like that other performance was deserved a silly gold trophy that actually really doesn't mean much, but we give it a lot of meaning anyway.
Okay, so this might also be to seek out, but okay, this is definitely underrated. Black Bear, Aubrey Plaza in Black Bear is, and obviously Aubrey Plaza is close with Ivana. Aubrey mentioned her at SNL, not as like, oh, my acting coach, but just thanks for being there. They're really close. And, honestly, Aubrey Plaza is such an excellent human being. When my father died, she reached out to me on Instagram to make sure my mother was okay. And was concerned, where a lot of people might just, oh, that's my acting coach, da-da-da. But as I mentioned in the last podcast, like so much is shared when working in this technique that I feel that they developed a really beautiful, real relationship that she's so fantastic. She's such a fantastic woman. And her performance in Black Bear is so gut-wrenching. I'm like, how did you get there emotionally? I hope you only had to do one take of that, because my God, was that painful. Like, it's such a magnificent performance. I absolutely think everyone should see that for the acting.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. I haven't seen it,
yeah.
But I'm glad you mentioned that, and you mentioned Aubrey Plaza, because I do think she's absolutely underrated, because I feel like the culture just thinks she's this rad, but they stereotyped her, right?
Yeah.
Based on the Parks and Rec character.
Yep.
And she's not taken that seriously as an actor.
And
they see her as like an it girl.
Yes.
Which is a pretty sexist term.
Yeah.
But she's just seen, I don't even know.
Lotus. Did you see her in White Lotus season 2?
Yes.
Woo! It's like, that's the kind of shit she's bringing to Black Bear. She is so good. She is so good. And she is the nicest person in the world. She's obviously super funny, but she is incredible. And getting to these places, it's amazing. Yeah, she's amazing.
Now I got a tear in my eye reading about her wearing the tie-dye at the SNL thing to honor her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing person.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, well, the last thing, sorry to make you do this.
Is 3.
You can just name, by the way, the question has a lot of intention. It's just favorite films. It's not like the best films you've ever seen or the this or the that. Like, you could even just say one you love from childhood, one you love like in your
I'm going to give
middle.
you 3 that this is my personality in 3 films. We are going to start with Party Monster with Seth Green and Macaulay Culkin. It's so fantastic. It is so fun, and I love everything about it. Love everything about that movie. Second one is going to be Superbad. Of course, Judd Apatow, big fan of Judd Apatow. I think he is incredible. If I could find my way into being the female Judd Apatow, I would be... I'm just not funny enough, but I think that would be the life that I wanted in an alternate universe. And I hope in the quantum physics of it all, in one universe, that's who I am. That's not who I am in this universe. In this universe, I'm the girl that wants to talk about trauma and how this affects you. So not so Judd Apatow, but Superbad. I saw that movie in the theaters with my father, and with all the dicks and all the things, he's just sitting there like, what a choice for me and my young daughter, what's everyone else looking like in here? Oh, it looks like teenagers over here. There's no other father-daughter team watching this movie in that theater. So that was fun. It was awkward, informative. Love, 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 love that movie. Have watched that movie, both of those movies, so many times. And then my third one is going to be... and this is for the acting, but I really liked Quarantine, which is the American remake of Rec. I think that this movie, the acting in this movie is superb, right? And being afraid for what will end up being an hour and a half screen time, but is however many days on set with just constant fear and being pale and like really the breathing, like that is a workout to just be afraid for that long. So Quarantine is absolutely one of my favorite films of all time. So those three. I actually wrote a senior thesis when I was at NYU about that film.
Dang, I haven't seen Quarantine. Okay, I'll see it. And I want to add, well, I love the first two.
Yeah.
And I want to add something about Superbad,
Yeah.
which is, as a kid who grew up in the 80s and the Lose Your Virginity story, I love that Superbad was the first I ever saw where the women weren't objects. Like the female characters were people.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
whenever someone mentions Superbad, I always have to mention Booksmart.
I love Booksmart
Because
too,
for me, it's finally like, so Superbad, women finally weren't just objects. And then Booksmart, finally we get the female side of that story.
Yep.
Where you're in high school and you're like, God damn it, I really got to get laid before college.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
it's such a dumb story, but it's so
real for
universal.
everybody.
It's universal.
Yes. Yeah.
You walk around going, whoa, what is this going to happen?
It's universal and it's non-political, like this is before people start to think in those terms. And you're really just thinking about yourself and what that means for you, what virginity is for you, what that means if you have or have not lost it. And we're forming these really important opinions about who we are and our place in the world that is just a metaphor for.
It's madness. It's madness.
Yeah.
I just call it madness because that was, you even use the word, to even think about virginity when you're, boy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go back to when I was really young. I'm thinking about it now. I remember being in the back of my friend's car the day after it happened for me and going, oh my God, I got to tell you about this.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was special. All right. We're good. We're good.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
So those, all your links and things that will have the same clickable clickable links in the show notes so that you can follow up on all the things that relate to Claire. And I really highly recommend you listen to the podcast before this one. And I wish, one of these days I'm going to have the episode numbers ready.
Okay.
But if they're right, I will, this will come out after it's happened. But today's a Thursday. Monday, I am the guest on this podcast for the first time for episode 500.
Wow.
And
Who's going to interview you?
I don't know. I gave Karina a list of names and I said, I think these people would be interested.
Cool.
They've all expressed interest. And actually, you know what? I was dodging because I've brought it up enough times that I liked this idea. And enough people said, oh, I'd love to do it. That I didn't want to be the one to choose because then.
Smart.
So Karina chose. And I'll just be surprised. Someone's going to ring the doorbell Monday at noon, I think, and I'm going to find out who's interviewing me.
Wow.
And I have to, but it gives me a couple days to think of what lies I'll tell.
Okay.
Good
one.
why would I tell the truth? All right. So anyway, that was me doing a dumb tangent. If you want to learn more about this podcast, so it's clickable links in the show notes, all about Claire. And then if you want to learn more about this podcast or the TV series on Amazon Prime Video that was born from it, go to discoverindiefilm.com. On social media, it's always at DIFwins. The nonprofit that runs the two film festivals is discoverindiefilm.org. And it does not have its own social media. What are you going to do?
No.
And when I say social media, it's always at DIFwins, and including Blue Sky and excluding X. Go ahead. Come at me with the politics. I just, what are you going to do? I just love that whatever. And Claire's film Away Home was at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival in 2023, where it took home those awards I mentioned at the top. You can learn more if you go to ShermanOaksFF.com, and it's at ShermanOaksFF on social media. 10th anniversary this December, doing some fun stuff for that. And its sister festival every June is Film Invasion Los Angeles. You can learn more at filminvasionla.com, and it's at Film Invasion LA on social media. I'll add that after many false starts in other cities, there was once almost a film invasion in San Francisco. There was almost London. There was almost, I think, a Grand Rapids.
Wow.
But I think in 2026, film invasion Peru, in Lima, Peru, is going to happen. How cool is that?
That's very cool.
I'm even going to fly down, but I don't think I'll do any Q&As because my Spanish sucks. Now that it was pretty good when I was a kid in the 70s being bused to an all-Mexican school here in LA. But my Spanish sucks now. But I'm still going to go to a film festival in 2026 in Lima, Peru, of which I am just really just like a grandpa advisor type. But anyway, I'm excited about that. So I'm mentioning it now because to add more pressure to myself to make sure it happens. And the last thing is, if you love indie film, check out discoverindiefilm.com. You might want to check out indiechannel.tv. All right. Claire, this was so much fun.
Thank you.
And thank you for I'm really looking forward to watching some of those films you mentioned.
Snow on the Bluff.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening.